trucking accident? This is accident attorney Sweet James. You choose us because results matter. Here are some of the settlements won for injured victims by the attorneys at Sweet James. $29 million won for a client hurt in a multiple vehicle accident. $11 million won for a client hurt in a trucking accident. $1 million for a client hurt in a motorcycle accident. Sweet James wins for clients hurt in these types of cases 98% of the time. We settle more money in 1 year than most firms settle in their lifetime. So if you're hurt in an accident and results matter to you, call the attorneys at Sweet James. Pay nothing until we win. We can't guarantee the outcome of any case, but it's important you have an experienced and successful law firm on your side. Get a free consultation at 800-9-MILLION. That's 800-9-MILLION. 800-900-0000. And go to sweetjames.com.
KTAR-FM, Glendale, Phoenix. This is Arizona's news station. KTAR News, 92.3 FM.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Just days after being at odds over a deal to raise the debt ceiling, President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy are unified to get a debt package passed. Both optimistic that the U.S. will avoid default on its loans on June 5th. Even with criticism from both sides of the aisle, McCarthy hoping to take a vote as early as today.
There's been fierce criticism on the far right of the party that the deal doesn't sufficiently cut federal spending. At least 32 House Republicans have said they'll vote no. McCarthy can stand to lose over 100 Republican votes, but then would need support from Democrats, some of whom have also been critical of the bill. Lindsay Watts, ABC News, Washington.
Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie expected to announce a presidential run next week in New Hampshire. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis in Iowa today, his second day of kicking off his campaign. Both Republicans have been critical of former President Trump, who's making another bid for the White House. ABC News Deputy Political Editor Avery Harper on what it could mean for the race.
As long as we hear former President Trump continue to talk about 2020, talk about political retribution and his ongoing legal troubles, that could steer more voters in the direction of other candidates.
A failed spy satellite launch out of North Korea.
Pyongyang's newly developed rocket lost thrust following the separation of its first and second stages and came down of its west coast. It's a setback for Kim Jong-un's push to boost his military capabilities. After an unusually quick admission of failure, North Korea's vowed to conduct a second launch after learning what went wrong. That suggests Kim remains determined to expand his weapons arsenal and apply more pressure on Washington and Seoul. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
Russia's president pointing the finger at Ukraine after a series of drones were shot down in a Moscow neighborhood not far from Vladimir Putin's country residence. The U.S. has said it would not support attacks inside Russia. You're listening to ABC News.
Arizona's news station. KTAR, on air, 92.3 FM, online at KTAR.com, and streaming live on the KTAR News app. Your breaking news and traffic now.
It's 11:02. I'm Jeff Munn. Here's our top story. The second round of clearing up the zone, the homeless encampment in downtown Phoenix, is wrapping up this morning. Scott Hall, Deputy Director for the Office of Homeless Solutions, tells KTAR the residents have been given resources to help them transition out of the area.
If someone chooses not to take any of those options, they can take whatever belongings they want, so we haven't thrown away anybody's belongings.
This round focuses on the west side area between Washington and Jefferson Streets. Meanwhile, Chief Operating Officer with Central Arizona Shelter Services, Philip Scharf, says they will have about 24 beds available for those who will be removed from the zone and want to get off the streets.
We're also just finishing a whole bathroom renovation here at CAST, and so we had some beds that had been down for that process, and so we basically are able to open those right back up and have an opportunity to take the people in.
A Superior Court judge has ordered the city of Phoenix to have the entire zone cleared out by July 10th. For more of our special focus on homelessness in the Valley, go to KTAR.com/homeless.
I'm Laura Pastor. For 5 generations, my family has worked for a better Arizona.
That's the new Democrat running for Arizona's 3rd Congressional District in next year's election. Laura Pastor currently serves on the Phoenix City Council. She joins the ticket with already 2 big names, fellow Councilwoman Yasemin Ansari and former State Senator Raquel Teran. You can read more at KTAR.com. The Arizona Game and Fish Department has finished a public safety operation after hunting and using lethal force against 4 mountain lions that stalked the Prescott community.
There's a lot of mountain lions here in the state of Arizona. We believe that this was an adult mountain lion, a female, about 3 to 5 years of age, and that these were her 3 offspring.
John Treeweiler with the agency explains lethal force is not a preferred option, but since they endangered people, he says relocating them would just move the problem. Time for an update on traffic. We go live to the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center. Here's John Roller.
Yeah, Jeff, dealing with a couple of fires over in the East Valley. Let's start off with a vehicle fire. This is going to be the northbound Loop 101 Pima Freeway right near McDowell. Fire on the scene there. This vehicle fire is off to the right, and the car is pretty much destroyed there. So lean to the left. Already about a 2-mile backup to get around this. Again, that's northbound Loop 101 Pima Freeway right near McDowell. And then may also be seeing some heavy smoke over in the Queen Creek area. There is a big mulch fire burning. This is near the 202 and Elliott Road down in the Gilbert Queen Creek area. Also have a stalled big rig. This is going to be eastbound I-10 right at the Fairway Road off-ramp. And also we do have a crash coming in 87th Avenue and Bell Road up in Peoria. John Roller, KTAR News.
Sunny today with a high of 92. Tonight clear, the low 69. Right now in Phoenix, sunny skies, 86 degrees. Weather's brought to you by Howard Air. Whether replace or repair, call Howard Air. I'm Jeff Munn on Arizona's news station, KTAR News.
Strong values and strong opinions. The Mike Broomhead Show. KTAR News, 92.3 FM, and the KTAR News app.
So as the political landscape becomes more clear as we move toward the 2024 election, there were a lot of speculation about who might run for certain offices, and one of the names that was considered by many that may be a candidate for United States Senate was Karen Taylor Robeson, as she ran for the governor's office in the state of Arizona. She joins us now. Ms. Robeson, welcome back.
Well, I'm glad to be back, Mike. Thanks for having me on.
It's good to hear your voice again. I want to ask you first, let's start with the campaign part of this. There was speculation that you might run for the Senate. Did you seriously consider a run for that office?
Well, you know, I had so many people from around the state ask me to enter the race. And, you know, after a lot of soul searching and prayer and discussions with family and friends, I just decided to pass on a run this cycle. It's just not good timing for me.
I was going to ask, what can you share a little bit of that? Is there a time that there might be a better fit? Is there something maybe in the future? Would you still consider something in the future?
Yes. You know, I live my life trying to keep options open, and I will keep my options open. I can tell you one thing is I'm not going away. I love this state. This state has been, you know, immensely good to me and providing me with opportunities to raise my family here. And, you know, although the gubernatorial campaign did not end the way we had hoped, I have to tell you, I loved being a candidate, and I love this state more now than I did before I entered the race. You know, as a native, I thought I had seen the whole state, and turns out I hadn't. And it's more beautiful than I knew, and the people of this great state are amazing. You know, from Page to Benson to Bisbee to Thatcher, it's just great people all over the state, and I just feel, you know, in my heart the need to serve. It just, you know, it's a function of timing for me and what's best for my family.
You know, I find myself envious of native Arizonans. I moved here 28 and a half years ago, and I fell in love with it the first time I came on vacation in 92. And I'm not a native here, but I feel like it's embraced me, and I'm jealous of the people that have grown up here because of the changes you've seen. Arizona's still a beautiful place, but it's had such immense changes just in the 28 years I've been here.
Yeah, it certainly has. I was born in Mesa when there were 34,000 people.
Wow.
You know, it's well over 500,000 now, and just continuing to grow with each passing day. And yeah, a lot has changed, but I think the DNA of the state is fundamentally the same. You know, people have come here from all over the country. They've come here, you know, they've left their homes and their traditions and their jobs and families behind to come to a place where you know, you can make it, and you can start over, you can people are just welcoming, and that's unique. And a lot of people who are from here don't realize how unique that is, because there are, more than most states. You can't do that. You can't come in and really make a name for yourself, build a business, in a relatively free environment. It's just unique, and that history attracts a certain type of person to the state. And I believe our DNA is the way it has been for an awful long time.
Karen Taylor Robeson joins us. I want to look forward at some things, but before I do, I want to just go back for just a moment. I coached sports for a long time, and when you lose a close game or you lose a game, there's a feeling of either there was more we should have done, we made mistakes, or we left it all out on the field and we just have to shake the other person's hand and say they were better today. Any regrets when you look back on your campaign, or do you think you did everything you could and you did it the right way?
Obviously we wish we had won. We left it all on the field. We did everything that we believed was necessary. I started essentially at zero, both with name ID and in the polls, and we just about did it. We always say if we had 2 more weeks, maybe we would have. But at this point, there's lessons learned. But we ran a great campaign, and I had a phenomenal team, and I was a first-time candidate. I obviously have supported a lot of other candidates along the way, but it was the first time being in the barrel, so to speak, and I couldn't be more proud of my team. We had no attrition on my team. I didn't have to let anybody go, and to this day, the people that worked with me, both on my campaign team proper and volunteers around this state, have stayed in close contact, and it's that was a great testament to just the chemistry of the team and our desire to win. But as you and your listeners know, there's just some unique dynamics in the 2022 race, and in a multi-candidate race like we had. Not only in Arizona but across the country, it was difficult to overcome a Trump-endorsed candidate.
Are you asked for advice now? Because that's a great point. You did have an excellent team. I know some of your team members. Do you have candidates asking you for advice because of the way you ran your campaign?
I do. In fact, I've had now multiple presidential candidates reach out to me. One in particular asking for advice. They watched my race, and they're basically like, how did you go from zero to almost pulling this off against a candidate who had essentially been living in the voters' living rooms for 25 years? And so I'm happy to share with anybody what we did, but it was a good message. It was hard work and a lot of great people helping.
Would you, or are you going to endorse a candidate if asked in the Senate race or any of the other races? Would you endorse a candidate in a primary? And if so, are there any candidates you're already behind?
It just depends. It's really too early to see what the field is going to look like. We've got well over a year to go, and we don't even know who all is going to be running. But I can tell you that I'm going to be focused, as I hope all Republican voters will be focused on, finding the strongest candidate, not just to win the primary, but we need a candidate that can get over the line in a general election, and we have to be extremely cognizant of that. Because our voter demographics in Arizona have changed, and we have to be able to appeal to more than Republican voters. Quite frankly, we've got now more than a third of the voters are registered independent. So I'm going to be looking for that candidate who can appeal to enough people in the general election to get over the finish line.
If you were to give advice to someone running for that Senate seat as far as issues go, what are the issues you would lead with walking into a room of people that you wanted to vote for you?
Well, there's so many issues. Arizona being a border state, we are being overrun. Now every state in the country is a border state, but we're on the front lines. And, that is taxing our systems, our social systems, our governmental systems. And my numbers now, probably a year old and stale, but on the campaign trail, I knew that it was costing Arizona $2 billion a excess costs associated with the border crisis. So that, of course, is going to be critical for any candidate running for the United States Senate. But the other big issue, and in fact, I spent my morning on the phone on this issue with a group from around the country, and that's getting Congress, getting Washington on a diet, so to speak. We need a balanced budget in Washington, D.C., and I don't believe Washington is capable of doing it themselves. This is an effort that's going to have to be led from the states, but we have to figure out how to rein in spending at the national level. You know, when President Reagan first raised the alarm about our national debt, it was approaching $1 trillion. Today, our national debt exceeds $32 trillion. You can't just keep printing money without suffering the impact of that. And so I think with each passing day, that issue, the fiscal irresponsibility of Washington, is going to become, into clear focus for everybody, because inflation impacts everybody, and inflation is a direct result of Washington's spending spree and their ability to just continue to print money. Those would be my two biggest issues: the border and the national debt.
I appreciate the perspective. I hope you'll let us call on you as we get closer to the election, because I would love to pick your brain when the field gets more clear about where we're headed.
ちょっと引っ掛けて寝るから。お父さんも入れておいて。車熱くなるから。水持ってった方がいいよ。